bottom there will be the subscribe button so that you will be able to see and have. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Relationship Real Talk. My name is Julius Eniolu, and my wife is with me in the studio. You will see her in a minute. I want to welcome you. It's such a pleasure to have you join us today. We have several interesting questions that we're going to be dealing with today. The first one is about competition. Well, maybe not the first one, but one of the questions we're going to be talking about is competition. Should there be, why would there be competition within a relationship dynamics? Or why does she always have headache, at night? And one or two other questions. But get your cup of coffee or your favorite beverages and get ready. And please share the link with your friends and loved ones so that they can join us in this conversation as well. And if you have questions that you would like for us to talk about today, I'm not promising that we will, but even if we don't on this occasion, we will in subsequent ones. But once again, welcome. It's really nice to have you join us, and look forward to an interesting, engaging conversation with us.
Hey, I'm here, and I am excited to be here. And I'm excited if you're joining us live. If you are there and you haven't said hello, then do say hello. Say hello. Let us know that you're there. It's wonderful to have you here. I keep looking there. So I'm really looking there. So it's wonderful to have you join us. We are excited about today's episode. We have looked forward to it for a long time and we're finally here. But we're just going to give a few more minutes because we know when you go live, it takes a while for people to join in. So we're just going to give a few more minutes. I'm going to be checking my phone just to look out for you as you join us. So as you join us, do say hello so we know that you are there. And like my husband said, we have a few questions that we're going to be looking at today. One of it, I know we said, why does she always have a headache? Well, basically what we're looking at is why is it that sometimes, we find ourselves in that position where our spouse, usually the woman, is not in the mood for any intimacy, as it were, when the guy is in the mood. So we're going to be looking at that because that is a real thing. We're also going to be looking at competition. We live in a very competitive world, I think, right now, would you say? Mm-hmm. Because of social media as well, everybody's looking at everybody else, looking behind their shoulder, looking at what they're doing. And so we very easily bring that into the home. Is there a place for that, for competition between the man and the woman? And the third question we have today is it ever okay for the woman to make the first move? Is there anything wrong with it? So we want to hear from you. We really do. So those are the questions we're looking at. We want to hear from you. So join the conversation. But as we wait, should we sing?
Sing?
Yeah.
I really am not in the mood for a song.
Sometimes you do what you're not in the mood for, isn't it? You just get on with it. you get yourself in the mood for it. So I think we should sing.
Okay. What are we singing?
Let's sing My Love by Lionel Richie and Diana Ross.
We've sung that song before.
We can sing it again. We can sing it again.
All right, let's go. Let me get the lyrics.
If you're out there, you can sing along with us if you want. Absolutely.
Okay, are we ready?
So Fred says he wants to hear us sing, so let's go for it. Let's go for it. Okay.
My love, there's only you in my life, the only thing that's right.
My first love, your every breath that I take, You're every step I make.
And I want to share all my life with you. You know
No one
else would do.
And your eyes,
They tell me how much you care. Oh, yes. You will always be my endless love.
You can tell we did not rehearse. Absolutely not. Oh my gosh. And you know what? We had night vigil yesterday. So that's my excuse. We had night vigil yesterday. So my throat is not awake. But we'll do better next time. We'll do better next time. But let's hit off on this conversation. Okay? Should we get started on the first question?
Okay. So what's the first question?
Why does she always have a headache?
Oh yeah, I should be asking
You
that.
should be asking me that,
Yeah.
yes.
So, why do women tend to have regular headaches? Not during the day, not in the afternoon, but at night when they know that the man wants something else.
Yes, some intimacy, and the woman is saying, "I'm not in the mood." So they may not have a headache, you know.
I thought you should just get on with it and do what you need to do. That was what you said to me about the song. I said I didn't feel like singing a song.
Right? Okay.
And,
yeah. Fair point.
Yeah, I
Fair
should
point.
just get on with it. So are there things that you only do when you feel like it? Or are there things that you just know this is the right thing to do? We just get on with it.
Okay, that is a good question. Fair play. So I'm gonna throw. I hope there's some women out there that are watching this that are gonna support me today and help me bring our case forward. Help me articulate how it is for us, because that's a really good question. So why is it that you can't just get on with it? Okay, so we're gonna do a song just now, or I said we should do a song. You said you didn't feel like you were not in the mood, and
Even
I said,
though I didn't do a good job, if I have to talk for myself, I didn't do a bad job. That's what I meant to say.
you didn't do a bad job. But yeah, so we said, okay, let's do it anyway, because there are times you have to do something whether you feel like it or not. So here we're talking about intimacy. We're talking about sex, bottom line. So your question was, well, if there are times that you just get on with it and just do it even though you don't feel like it, why doesn't the lady just get on with it and do it whether she feels like it or not? I would say this is slightly different. This is different because if I need to go to work, I might not feel like going to work. I just get up and do the motions. I have a shower, I get dressed, I put on my shoes, I get in the car, I drive to work, I do it. I push myself to do it. But I think when we're talking about sexual intimacy, it's a different ballgame because it's not just a physical thing. Well, for most women, let me talk for myself and for maybe most women, I don't generally like to generalize, but I would say for most women, you can tell me if it is the same for men or whether for men it's just a physical act. But for most...
No.
No, let me finish.
No, I need to respond to what
No, I said you will tell me. I'm not saying that is what it is. I said I'm speaking for women, but you can speak for the men. So you can see the conversation is already getting heated. So for women, definitely, it's not just a physical act. So you can't just say, just get on with it and do it. But the real question is, why would she not want it? I think that's the real question the man should be asking.
We should be asking the ladies, so we are.
Exactly. So why? So the question is not why are you not doing it. The question is why does she not want to do it? Because very often when men are in that place where they're like, oh, my wife is always saying she has a headache, our sex life is not how it should be. I'm not getting enough of it. They're always coming from the place of me. I am not being satisfied sexually. My wife is not doing her duties, right? So it's me, 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 me. And they forget that sex is a two-way thing. It's a pleasurable thing for two people. But the way that the two people get their pleasure from it could be different. So the question is, why is she not wanted? One simple answer might be, she really might just be tired.
Yeah, if it's a regular tiredness, maybe she needs to go and see a doctor.
Or maybe the man needs to pull his weight around the house.
Yeah.
That could be the reason.
Yeah.
That could be the reason. So it could be that she is really genuinely tired. So maybe she works, maybe they have children. She goes to work, she comes back, she takes care of the kids, she makes dinner. By that time, she just wants to rest because she knows tomorrow is going to be rinse and repeat. I'm going to do the whole thing again. And then the man wants intimacy. So that could be the genuine reason. So if that is the issue, the man needs to find out, what can I do to support my wife more?
That's a fair point on that one. Yeah. So, and we've talked about that here. Sorry, I was going to say here at the Lighthouse, because we passed the Lighthouse, and that's my regular line. Yeah, so we've talked about that several times on this show, that each party needs to bring something to the table in terms of their contribution, because it's a partnership, not a service to be received. You're both mutually benefiting from that relationship. And each party needs to be doing something significant to keep the dynamics going. Otherwise,
something will suffer. And it could be sex.
Yeah,
that could suffer.
It could be.
So she could be genuinely tired. So you want to look at that. If she's taking too much on, just relieve her. Come on. If you know you want to get it on in the evening, don't wait till you get into the bedroom. How about, and people say, oh, you shouldn't be so clinical about it. You shouldn't have to plan so much about it. Well, we live in a busy world. And very often, things that don't get planned don't get done. So
does that imply that you need to do a rota?
No, not a rota, but...
Because
well, let me finish. Let me land.
Yeah.
And then
maybe we need to talk about this at some point more, because it should be spontaneous.
Not all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
Maybe not all the time, but when you have to schedule it in.
No, I'm not saying schedule it in. This is very often when the man knows that he wants it, he knows from the morning. He knows how he's feeling from the morning. Right?
That's a big risk you're doing.
Oh no, I'm making an assumption, so you correct me if I'm wrong.
One, you're a woman and you're speaking authoritatively. I don't know about that. I think different things could trigger different emotions.
That's true.
And I don't know if it is true that from the day previous or from the morning that I'm going to want it tonight.
Okay, is it possible that you do though?
Yeah, so we're talking about possibilities. So we cannot address this conversation based on a possibility.
We're looking at all the angles. That's what we're doing. We're looking at all the possibilities. So it's not always only one thing. There is a possibility that when you're going to work, you're already knowing that you're turned on. Is that a possibility?
It's a possibility.
Exactly. So if it's a possibility, or if you're in that situation for the man, then how about planning something for the evening, making it special? We're talking about one of the reasons she doesn't want it might be because she's tired. So what is wrong with you saying, tonight, honey, I don't want you to cook. We're going to go out for a meal, or we're going
You could do all of that. She's still tired.
It's possible, but let's not tie it down to let's not determine the end for the audience. We're giving them suggestions of things they could do to make a difference, right? You could do that. You could say, don't cook, let's buy takeaway, right? And we'll come to that. We'll come to other reasons, but let's address the one reason of maybe she's tired. If she's tired, what I'm saying is do things that could help her so that she is in a better mood at the end of the day. relieve her of some of the things that might be making her tired. Let's not assume there are other reasons. Let's deal with the different reasons in isolation. So let's assume for this person, the real reason is she's tired. What can you do to help her? There's certain things you can do. You can, say let's go out for a meal rather than her cooking. You could do takeaway rather than her cooking for that evening, right? So that is something you can do. You can even say take the day off work or whatever. But bottom line is do something to help her overcome that tiredness so that she's not tired. But yes, you're right. It's possible that you could buy the takeaway, do all those things, and she still says, I'm tired. She's not. She
finishes the takeaway and she's snoring immediately after she's had.
That's possible. She's had a meal. That's possible.
But thinking, I mean, obviously, just thinking here about men and women, it is very possible though that there could be other reasons other than tiredness. But the best thing she can say is I'm tired. But there could be other things. There could be hormonal issues going on in her. But don't, basically, I'm trying to say that it could be more than just tiredness.
Absolutely, there's several reasons, and that's what I was saying. Let's address the several reasons and do what we can to address the several reasons. And you're right, it could be hormonal changes. So maybe your spouse is in that age bracket where they're having menopause, and that is a real thing, and that could affect their sex drive. So that's something to be addressed. That's something to be looked into. I know that there are therapies out there that people can avail themselves to, but also there are things that you can do. So this is the way I look at it. I mean, I'm not a spring chicken, so I can talk from that point of view. And for people who are in that age bracket where it's no longer their sex drive is no longer as it used to be, in my opinion, they need more. They need more help then to get them in the mood. So you talked about why don't you just get on with it? It's not easy to just get on with it like that for the woman, especially now when you're dealing with hormonal changes as well. So as a man, what can you do? You can help push those buttons before you get to the bedroom, before you even start to think about sex, before you even make a move. I mean, I'm going to speak personally now, okay? These are some things that I know have worked for me, that I like, and everybody's not like me, but I know these things I like. Just holding my hand or even just massaging my shoulder with no ulterior motive. Because very often when somebody says, let me massage you, all of a sudden it's getting sexual. But if you just, for some women, if you do it without the blatant, obvious, I have a goal to have sex, you might even turn her on more than if you're obviously doing it because you want sex. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, it's this topic now. I sense more and more the more we talk that we need to talk about it. Maybe do a few series about it. See, this issue of hold my hand, touch me without ulterior motive. What is the definition of ulterior motive?
Okay, I'll let
Chances are, it is not even a chance. When a couple who are married, because we talk from the Christian point of view, you shouldn't sleep with anybody who's not married to you. When there are certain things that will trigger certain things. So do you then say, oh, she's going to think I want this, or he's going to think I want this? Just go with the flow, is my theory.
Okay, I agree. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. Let me look at the chat. Let's see what's happening in the chat. Let's see what people are saying. Are you there? Okay. Should tiredness be an excuse at all? Because from the Bible in Corinthians 7:5 it says, do not deprive each other of sexual relations. I couldn't quote all, but the Bible only made an excuse for when both of you are posing for spiritual reasons. And I know that scripture very well. Thank you very much. I know that scripture.
That's a tone in your voice.
No. I know that scripture very well. But the reality of the matter is she's not depriving him.
Oh?
No, she's not. She's just saying, I'm not in the mood for this time.
See,
I'm not. Let me go back. Listen, the question is, the point is sex. Why are you laughing?
No.
The point is sex is not just an act. So
of
you
course, it shouldn't be.
So you can quote all the scripture. Let's be real. We want to keep it real, right? So you can quote all the scriptures you like. You can bash her head with the Bible. And I'm disappointed that I can't see any females in the chat to help me out here. You can bash her with all the Bible scriptures.
Maybe they're busy.
They're busy cooking.
So they will have a good excuse to be tired.
They're busy cooking. Maybe you can bash her with all the Bible, jokes apart, you can bash her with all the Bible passages you like. But the reality is, if you don't push the right buttons, you're not going to get the right response from her. It's as simple as that. And when I was talking about doing things without the ulterior motive, yes, there's nothing wrong with you holding back. There's nothing wrong with you holding back in that moment. And you might just be surprised that...
Is there anything going with the flow?
Well, let me finish now. You keep interrupting me. Let me finish. There's nothing wrong with going with the flow. Absolutely nothing wrong. But if you're trying to go with the flow and then she's saying, no, I'm not in the mood, that's your answer. That's your answer. Why don't you try something different is what I'm saying. Try something different. Do the foreplay, as it were, and hold back. And you might just be surprised that she'll be the one chasing you. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I did sense, though, that the tone of this conversation suggests that it is the man's responsibility to lead to sex.
No, that was the premise we started. And don't forget, we have another question that says, is it wrong for the woman to make the first move?
Okay.
So we're going to deal with that there. We're not saying it has to always be the man, but we're coming from that premise of a man complaining, saying he's not getting enough because the woman always has different excuses. Yeah. So that's what we're dealing with right now. So I mean, just to recap, she could be genuinely tired. If that's the case, do what you can to help her so that she doesn't always have a headache. It could be hormonal changes. Be patient with her. Have a conversation with her.
Yeah.
Find out from her how you can help her get more in the mood. I'm going to stress this. Remember, sex is a two-way thing. It's not just for the man. So when the man is saying, you're not satisfying me, that is the wrong perspective to have. That is the wrong approach. The man should be asking her, what is it that turns you on? And if I'm saying one of the things that could be turning a woman on is you maybe getting a little bit intimate, but holding back so she doesn't feel like you're just getting intimate because you want sex. That could be something you could do to help her get in the mood. Because for her, it's a lot of emotions. A lot of emotions goes into the act. And so we know that we're not going to schedule it. And yes, there are times it should be spontaneous. Absolutely. But there's nothing wrong with planning towards it, wooing her towards it. There's nothing wrong with that either. So those are the things I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else that you want to point out?
No, it's a complex issue, but again, it may not apply to your relationship, because maybe your wife is one of those people that are just blessed with this supernatural grace. They never complain that they're tired, But if your spouse, I want to make it a little bit more general, but going back to the question, if she is saying on a constant basis, because it's not a problem if she says, once in a while she's tired. Everybody has the right to be tired. But if you're clocking the fact that she's saying, I'm tired more often than not, then you really need to talk about it. Is there something wrong? Why are you always tired? Is there something I can do to help? Because, don't neglect what you can do to help, but don't focus too much on the chores in the house, because it could be something deeper. But just talk about it. Don't leave in the shelf.
Yeah,
basically.
absolutely, talk about it. And the other thing that just came to my mind as well, as to the reason she might not be in the mood, because at the end of the day, that's really what we're talking about. We're using headache as just like a paradox. That she's not in the mood could be that there are other issues going on in the home that have not been resolved.
Yeah.
So if, for instance, there's been whatever it is, there's been an issue, there's been a disagreement perhaps that has not been resolved, and you're kind of trying to sweep it under the carpet, you're not dealing with it, and you just want her to just forget about that, just overcome that, and let's just get on with it. Yeah. It's going to be difficult because, like I said, it's all It's emotions, isn't it? It's emotions. And if she's not in that emotional state for sex, it's going to be difficult for her to do it. And there are times women do it. That's the truth. There are times that they do it because they know, okay, the man wants it. Yes, we're married and I shouldn't deprive him. But that shouldn't be every time. Because she's not going to enjoy it. And the enjoyment is for both parties to enjoy it. So if you know that there's maybe a long-standing issue in the relationship that has not been resolved, and maybe she wants to talk about it, and you're saying, oh, you're bringing that topic up again, and you're always complaining, or you're always doing this, and you shut her down, and then you expect her to get in the mood for sex, that's unfair. Because that is playing up in her mind. So she's not in the emotional state to be loving you and all of that, which should go with the sexual act. So I think it's really important to talk about it. And please, when you talk about it, listen to her. Listen to her. Whatever she says, don't say, oh, that's petty, or oh, that you're just making an excuse or whatever. Really listen to her and take it on board, and don't let her keep repeating herself. Don't let her keep repeating herself.
I think this being live, we've got to go to other questions because we've got more than one question. But I really sense that this topic is going to generate a lot of traction. And I think not because of that, but I think there's going to be interest for both men and women in relationships. And I think we need to come back some other time to talk extensively about this issue.
Absolutely, because I mean, infidelity is one of the top reasons for divorce, and one of the reasons for that is obviously there's some men who, even if they're getting it from their wives, they will go out anyway. But it could be because they're not being satisfied sexually at home. It would be the reason. So definitely an important topic, and we could come back to that. But let's go now to the third question we're going to look at. Not the second one, because that kind of ties into this. Is it ever okay for a woman to make the first move, or should it always be the man? And when we say the first move, we're not necessarily talking about just sex. We're talking about, can a woman ask a man out, right? So is it okay for the woman to make the first move, to either ask the man out, to even go to the extent of proposing? I laugh because there's a recent conversation we had with a young lady we know, and she basically said to the man, propose to me. So she was basically chase me. So she was basically,
but that's a lady who knows what she wants.
Absolutely. So but that's the question. Is that okay, or is that too forward?
I'm sitting down here thinking my age, but then I'm questioning my thoughts, because I grew up in an era where men do all of that. They do the asking out, they do the proposal, they basically. I think there's too much burden on men.
Please don't call it a burden.
I really feel
don't call
sorry
it a burden.
for men.
You know what? I think honestly, wait, let me just interrupt you there. I really think, I saw on Facebook, was it yesterday, somebody put a question: what happened to the men that hold the door open for you and I can't remember all the other things.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about.
But when you say burden on men, I think it ties in the sense that we're losing what we traditionally knew men to do. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? I personally don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a different topic, because that's a different angle of looking at the point we're making here. The point we're making is specific to intimacy. Should a man, but you extended it to marriage.
Let's extend it. Let's make it broad.
You extended it to marriage proposal.
Asking the man for a date, just making the first move.
I think traditionally men do all of those things. However, I don't think there is anything wrong with it for the woman to take the lead in such conversations or intentions, like asking the man, I don't really think there is anything wrong with it. I am speaking, obviously, from my faith background. Okay, if a man is a man of faith, and a woman is a man of faith, or submitting to the authority of the scriptures, and obviously, you are sure in your heart, because I think the reason I'm stuttering is because the thought of this is taking me to somewhere else. Like, dating, the whole essence of dating is, the intention of marriage, right? So you will have done your homework, on, I really love this person and I would like for them to be my marriage partner. So with that done, I don't really think there is anything wrong with a woman proposing and saying, will you marry me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's a new world.
I don't know.
When I say it's a new world, I don't mean it's a new, it's a thing I would like to see. But what I'm saying is, if you sit down to think about it logically, there is absolutely not one point against it. Okay. It's just culture and tradition.
I really want to hear from those of you watching. I can see a few people watching us live here. Can I ask you to please share your thoughts on this one? Because this is really important. Is it really okay? Is it really okay for the woman to propose to the man? I don't know. So this is my view. Let me ask you, if when we met, be honest now, let's keep it real. If when we met, if I proposed to you or I chased you, what would you have thought of me?
So, it is very possible, and I'm not going to lie, just to be honest, it is very possible. But we're talking about 30 years ago, right? I can't tell you, I couldn't possibly tell you how I would respond, but just thinking, I may feel a little bit like, oh, she's a bit forward. However, I may equally say, amen, because, people who heard me talk about our relationship would probably remember that I said the first time I saw you, well, not really the first time I saw you as a stranger first time, but the first time I saw you, meaning, after they've seen her as a stranger and not looking.
The first time we encountered each other.
Yeah. The Lord said to me, that's my wife. And so yes, we went out to watch a movie and stuff like that. So if you had said to me, can we get married? I would have probably said, when,
Well, okay. I'm going to come from scriptures now because, I'm a woman of faith. And what I read in my Bible is, he that finds a wife finds a good thing.
No, he didn't say he that asks for hand in marriage.
Yeah. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. And again, you're going to say, he didn't say ask. He's the one who asks. Yeah. But putting all those scriptures together tells me, yes, it tells me it is the man that goes finding the wife. And listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I just gave an example of a young lady we know who said to her now to be husband, chase me. And I'm not going to say,
it's
wrong. But I really don't want us to blur the lines so much. And this is the era we're living in right now, where the lines are so blurred. There is no difference between the role of the man and the role of the woman. And that is a dangerous place to be, personally, where everybody is equal. And I refer to that comment I saw on this Facebook post. And the men were commenting and saying, and what does she do? So there are lots of comments.
There you go. I didn't even read it, but you see what I mean.
Exactly. But the thing is, it's not. She has her role. So she has her place. He has his place. Let's not blur the line so much. Somebody said, you lost that when you fought for equal rights. You wanted equal rights, you got. And the thing is, equal rights is completely different. Equal rights is
according to your definition of it.
No, I know that we've taken equal rights to the extreme, and I think that's what that person was really alluding to, and it's the truth. We've taken equal right to the extreme where we're saying what a man can do, a woman can do better. I don't advocate that. I don't believe that. I don't say what a man can do, a woman can do better. I think a man has his place, a woman has her place, and there are roles for both. Yeah. And they should not be so intermingled that we lose the essence of who a man is and the essence of who a woman is. A man should protect me. A man should should be the hunter. Let me finish. A man should chase me. Yes, I'm passionate about this. The man should do the chasing. Because if the woman chases and then you get married, and then he's going to go, well, I didn't ask for this. You are the one who chased me. I don't know. I just think there's something wrong with it. If that becomes the norm.
Yeah. So we are not proposing a replacement of the norm. We're extending the grace. And I don't want to extend these conversations to the areas that you've taken it. I'm not in any way implying that the role of a man isn't clear in a relationship or his responsibilities aren't clear. We're talking about dating, sex moves specifically, and that's what I'm addressing. So
it's the same mentality though.
So he that finds a wife, yes, the man should find a wife. And what does that look like? You do your prayers or whatever it is you need to do to convince yourself that this person is the right person for me. So once they're found or they found each other, who asks for it? To me, it's not that important, because the man could be dragging his feet. It could be dragging his feet for legitimate reasons. I earn £25,000 a year at the minute. I want to give this woman the best of lives. I want to try, maybe give you a couple more years when I'm beginning to earn £45,000 a year. That's a legitimate reason, and credible for that matter. And the woman sensing this says, will you marry me? Let's get on with it.
Well, I think there are ways you can give a man signals without being so blatant. Yeah. I think there are ways you can give signals
you can sense who is liberal and who isn't.
Well, no, it's not a question of liberalism. Oh, I'm more liberal than you. Don't go there. Don't go there. I'm more liberal than you. But I think there are ways you can give the man the signals to say, I'm happy with this. I'm not wanting a millionaire. With that, and again, I'm not saying it's wrong. But for it to now be a thing where maybe the man is expecting it, I think that is I don't know. I think that's dicey.
Yeah, I think the expecting it is too far. What I would like to see is the freedom of what is it? There's freedom of, I don't want to say choice, but basically for the woman not to feel until he asks. Let there be liberality concerning this matter.
I think with something, so okay, if it's a proposal, for instance.
But we haven't addressed the main thing that we started, the sex thing.
Yeah, that's where I'm going now. So I was just going to say, if it's proposal, for instance, my view is very clear. The man should be the one to ask the woman out, should be the one to propose to the woman, to say, marry me, please. That's my view.
Please.
I'm saying please, that's how it should be
in
my view. No, I'm not saying he should beg her. I'm saying in my view, that's how it should be. But if it's other things, for instance, like making the first move to have sex, absolutely. It shouldn't always have to be the man.
There are some women that would argue from here till eternity with you.
I agree. And people are different, isn't it? I'm saying in my view. In my view, it shouldn't always have to be the man. Because now you're married, right? Now you're married. You should have liberty, like you said. You should have liberty to express yourself. There's nothing wrong. And there's some people who have this feeling of, oh, if I ask for sex, then it's going to make me look like, promiscuous or whatever. No, not in marriage. In marriage, you're married. You have the right to say, I want you, right? And the man will actually love that.
You would think.
Well, I think so. He would love it, So for me, that's what I think. I think when you're in the marriage, there's nothing wrong with the woman saying, let's go out, right? So in a sense, you're saying you're taking him for a date when you say, let's go out. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying to him, I want you to do this. I want you to...
Sorry, go back to what you said about the dating.
I said there's nothing wrong with the woman saying to the man, let's go out for a date.
Okay, yes.
So in a sense, you're saying, let's go out for a date.
Well, it doesn't even mean that I'm paying. What I mean by that is when the lady says, can we go out for a meal? It doesn't mean that she's offering to pay.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
she's just taking the initiative.
That's the point. Once you're married, there's nothing wrong with a woman taking the initiative with respect to anything. Going out for a date, sex, anything. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because you're now one, right? So you should be free and open. So that's my view anyway.
I do not disagree with you there. But now that we've addressed that, talking about the opening of cars and stuff like that, once in a while, as life allows for it, you should make an effort, on special occasions, special days, because let's be realistic, you wouldn't do it every day.
But it's lovely, isn't it? I mean, we talk about the gentleman. There's some women like us that still want gentlemen, right? And especially in this world now where, the likes of Andrew Tate have brought all these views that are so extreme that it's kind of a bit warped and kind of really influence a lot of young people. Let's face it, there's a lot of abuse against women now than ever before. We thought we had gone past that, but we're finding ourselves back in that era where women are being abused, they're being trivialized and being made to feel less than because of all these ideologies, especially from people like Andrew Tate. And I think it's important that in this era, because of that particularly, that we rise up and say, no, women are to be cherished, they're to be respected. It's not okay for a man to think a woman is a tool or an instrument to be used, right? It's not okay. And there's nothing wrong with a man being a gentleman and honoring the woman.
Well,
and
a gentleman is to be desired, and every man should desire to be honorable, to be gentle, to be intentional, considerate, reflective, and several other adjectives I could have used, in treating their spouse, because your spouse is an extension of you. So the golden law of love others as you would like to,
as you love
yourself, applies most significantly in a married relationship, because they are you really, But the third question, or the second question.
Let me just see if there's anything in the chat. Okay. Not that I'm married, but I agree with Pastor Mary that the man will love it if the woman should also initiate, because it makes the man feel wanted as well. Absolutely. I'm sure that's exactly true. And I know you might be watching this. If you're watching it on replay, then please drop your comments in the chat. We still want to hear what you think. And you might be one of those saying, so what does she do? And so one of the comments on that post I read yesterday was somebody saying, we want the women who honor and respect their husbands and are loyal. We want those women back. So it's like a two-way thing, isn't it? So the woman is saying, so the post was, we want back the men that open doors and buy flowers and all of this. And one of the comments was, we want the women who respect their husbands and are loyal to their husbands.
But that's a fact, right?
That's what I'm saying. So it's a two-way thing. So maybe you're there and you're saying, well, the women are getting what they want because they are this, that, or the other. Put it in the chat. We'll have another conversation about this. I know today's been like, me defending the women, but we'll have another conversation and maybe look at other things as well. But the third question, because we're starting to run out of time, is there ever any place for competition between the man and the wife? We live in a very competitive world. We live in a world where everybody wants to be like the Joneses, especially because of social media. Is it ever okay for that to even creep into the home, where one, and it could be either, it could be the man competing with the wife or the wife competing with the woman. Is there any place for that?
To put it, the best analogy I can use in a race, which is competitive, to describe marriage, is a relay race. So when you're running a relay, there are four of you. Well, I think there's usually four people in one team racing. But on this occasion, they're not racing against each other. They might be competing with each other, by that, I'm extending the definition of competition, because you really should be competing with yourself on a daily basis. But let's leave that aside. So competition in the generic sense of it should not feature in marriage, you know. But if you want to extend the definition of competition, how to outdo each other in well-doing, that could be competitive, you know. Meaning, you know, I want to be gracious to you more than you were to me, and stuff like that. I
wouldn't use the word competition in that sense, because so the Bible says spur each other onto good works, and I think that's what you're talking about. So challenge is what I would use. So challenging each other to do better onto good works, but competing is negative in the sense that there's a winner between the two of us.
Yeah, and that's fundamentally against what we understand. I think we dealt with this in one of the chapters in our book.
Our book. If you have not gotten our book, this is the time to get our book, because a lot of what we're talking about on this show, we deal with in our book. 30 Ways to Divorce-Proof Your Marriage. So you want to get it on Amazon, just go on Amazon, go on Waterstone, it's there. Get your copy today. But yes, we talk about competition in the book.
So competing against each other doesn't make sense. It's contrary to everything the marriage stands for, because the two shall become one.
Exactly.
That's the ultimate goal of marriage. Therefore, competition is like singing a duet and trying to outshine the other.
It doesn't work.
You know, you're there to complement one another.
Absolutely.
If one person forgets their line, you quickly, you know, or you signal to the other person it's your turn. You know, kind of complementing each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. But what are some of the things that could cause competition? Let's look a little bit about that, and then maybe just talk briefly on how you can deal with it. One of the things I think that could bring competition in the home is where one party feels undermined and unappreciated.
Right.
So if, for instance, so let me talk as a woman. If as a woman, for instance, I feel like my husband doesn't really appreciate what I bring to the home. He undermines my value. Right? He doesn't appreciate me. He sees what I bring as not bringing. Yeah, he undermines my value, basically.
That's an interesting view.
Wait, let me finish. If I feel like that, I might then feel the urge to prove myself.
Right.
Because when you're competing, that is what it is, isn't it? You want to prove something.
Right.
So if I feel like I'm not being appreciated, maybe he earns more than me and he talks to me anyhow because he's the one who gives me money for everything I do, I might then feel like, okay, I'm going to show you.
Right.
So that is something that could cause one party to want to compete with their spouse.
Yeah.
Something else that I can think of is it could be from upbringing.
Yeah.
It could be from upbringing. It could be that you grew up in that really toxic environment where everybody fights for themselves. And so now you're in a relationship and you're supposed to be one, but you're not really one.
Yeah.
You're looking behind your shoulder all the time that something might go wrong with this relationship, and so I have to fend for myself. And so you're not working in partnership with your spouse, you're now working in competition with your spouse.
Yeah.
Right? So there's that, or it could just be envy.
Yeah.
A lack of insecurity in yourself, that because your spouse is doing well, you just cannot handle it.
Yeah.
It makes you feel smaller, it makes you feel insignificant, and so now you feel like, oh, I have to prove myself.
Yeah.
And so the envy, I think that's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, I do not disagree with any of the points that you've raised that could be responsible for competition in marriage, but what all of those indicate is the fact that there is a problem.
Absolutely.
You know, you will never compete with each other if there isn't a problem. There could be problems that you've never really talked about.
But those could be the problems, the ones
that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
There could probably that you've never talked about, and I wish you did when you were dating each other, so that you both arrive at this place at a good place. Because thinking about it now, I'm thinking, premarital counseling. If you're dating with the intention of getting married, don't assume that you know all there is about a relationship. Don't assume that you don't need people. You know, attend a premarital counseling. Well, attend premarital counseling, because it should help you. You know, it should help you professionally to address all of these things. Because when you get to that podium of marriage, competition should be out of the window.
It should be, but sometimes it doesn't happen that way.
That's what I mean.
So you need to look at yourself. If you are the one finding yourself competing with your spouse, just know that it's not right, because you're not supposed to be competing against each other. I remember that video we watched that we talked about on this show, where the woman was saying, are we competing with each other? We're not even in competition. We shouldn't be in competition. So if you find yourself that you're competing, and it could be, I want to prove that I'm better than him. It might not even be in earning money. Just in any way that you find yourself thinking that way of, I want to show I can do it better. I want to show I'm better than him. You just need to pause and ask yourself, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling like this? Right? Is it because I feel like I'm not appreciated and I have to fight my corner? I have to show my worth? Is it because I'm envious of them? Why am I envious of them? I shouldn't be envious of them, because anything they are, I am. You know, and this is why I love scripture, because scripture has so much wisdom that teaches us how to handle life situations, how to deal with these emotions. The Bible says that no person hates himself. And if both of you are one,
no normal person hates themselves.
That's true. No, that's absolutely true. So if you're one, then why am I competing against myself in a negative way? That's the way you want to look at it. So how do you deal with it? If it's envy, you want to find out, where is that coming from? And comparison and envy is something that we all deal with at some point in our lives, if we're going to be honest. Nobody likes to admit it, but we all find ourselves in that place where we're envious of somebody's achievements or what somebody is doing, and you just have to catch yourself. Just catch yourself. No need to deny it, because if you deny, you can't deal with it. Just catch yourself and admit, I'm being envious here. Why am I being envious? Why am I being jealous of that person? Because often when there's envy, it's highlighting a need that you have in your life. It's highlighting a deficiency, a sense of lack, right? I'm envious of that person because I feel maybe they have a better life than me, they're doing it better than me. So there's a sense of lack there. So it's that sense of lack you should put your energy into dealing with. Not now, wanting to put the other person down because you're envious of them, or wanting to outdo them. No, focus on yourself. Turn that energy inward to that lack. Okay, if it's because I feel like, their career is taken off and mine hasn't, okay, switch that energy to focus on me. What can I do to make my career take off? Rather than now being envious of that person, that is a negative thing. Switch that energy and make it a positive thing, and look at your own life, because let's face it, if they stop being prosperous in their career tomorrow, it's not going to translate in your prosperity, right? So you wishing them evil, it's not going to translate to your blessing. What's going to translate to your blessing is you putting effort into your own career. So that is what I mean by switching that negative energy, switching into something positive, examining yourself and taking action that will get you what you want and bridge that sense of lack, rather than feeding that envy that results in negative competition.
I think the summation is pretty simple. If you sense competition in your marriage, you need work. And the sooner you admit it, the better for the two of you. Because life, they say, is short, but I say life is long as well. If you're going to be married to somebody, you want to be happy. But if you're always competing with each other, trying to outsmart each other, then you are going to have a problem. So just deal with it.
You're gonna damage the relationship. That's the truth. You're gonna damage the relationship. You're not gonna be happy. After a while, resentment will start to creep in, because you feel like, I'm not getting what I want. And once you start to have that I, me against him, already there's division, and that's not what you want. You're building oneness, right? So I hope we've touched on it. Again, it feels like we've kind of crammed a lot into these three.
We probably did.
These three topics. So maybe we'll revisit it. We'll revisit each one, and maybe have a couple of shows dealing with it. But we want to hear from you if that's what you want. Even if you're watching this on replay, let us know what you think. Put your thoughts in the comments. But for now, we're gonna, call it a day. If you have not yet subscribed, this is your reminder. Hit the subscribe button. Help us get to 2,000. That's our next goal. We're almost there, almost there, almost there. Help us get to 2,000. Get our book. A reminder for you to get that book and read it and let us know what you think about it. But until then, this has been Mary
and Julius Eniolu,
your Relationship Real Talk hosts, where we talk all things relationship, always keeping it real. See you next time.